Bobcats, to another edition of From the Field to the Fans. I'm your host and sports editor here at the University Star, Odus Evbagharu, and today with me, as always, I have my two buddies here with me, Ishmael Johnson and Kirk Jones. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. Excited about another day of Texas State sports, getting into some interesting stuff today.
It's going to be a busy weekend. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of sports, a lot of things happening here at Texas State.
It's been a busy week. Been a busy week for Bobcat Athletics. We're going to definitely run down the show. We're going to talk about women's basketball. They had a game Wednesday night against Monroe, defeating them 75-70. Good for the Bobcats. Back-to-back victories for the first time this season. I'm pretty sure Coach Antoine's pretty pleased with that. Men's basketball, they're going to play Monroe Thursday. Then they have the, it's not a Friday game, Saturday game against Lafayette. And that's a game that Jeff Foster will get his number 42 retired, so that's really exciting. I'm going to preview softball a little bit, see what Coach Ricky Woodard has up her sleeve this season, entering the Sun Belt for the first time. And then we're going to talk about football. Wednesday was National Signing Day, so, we got to talk about that here at Texas State football. Before we do all of that, we're going to take our first quick break and hear a word from our sponsors.
Can't drop the smoking habit or tired of inferior vaping products? At Vapor Essentials, we understand these issues. Let us show you the world of vaping at our new San Marcos location at 1515 Ocarina Springs Drive. We offer quality e-cig hardware by Halo and Totally Wicked, plus Texas Select Vapor. Our delicious Top 12 flavor line will knock your socks off with nicotine ranges from 0 to 24. At Vapor Essentials, we are consumers for consumers. We are your e-cigarette store. Come by or call us today at 512-878-8869. That's 512-878-8869. 18 and older, we ID.
Need cupcakes or cookies for your sweet tooth, or maybe a custom decorated cake for your sorority or fraternity celebration? Pennington's Cakes has you covered. Since 1962, Pennington's Cakes has been providing some of the best tasting desserts in Central Texas. We bake our cakes, cupcakes, and cookies fresh to order with quality ingredients and lots of love and care. No matter the order, Pennington's Cakes will rise to the occasion. Every one of our creations is artfully decorated and memorably presented. Get 10% off your purchase when you show your Texas State ID. We also offer free wedding cake consultations. We're conveniently located at 1662 South I-35, right next to Thad Ziegler Glass. Come by or call us today and join our family of satisfied customers. Our number is 512-396-4059. 512-396-4059.
And we're back here from the field to the fan. Sorry, I was going to say that really, really fast. We're back, and we're here to talk about women's basketball. They get a victory on Wednesday against Monroe at Strand Coliseum. Bobcats pull it out 75-70. Kaylin Martin with 8 points, 4 assists, and 5 turnovers. She had 7 last game, so at least the number went down. But Ashley Eze actually really stood out. She had 16 points. 16 points, went 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 42% from the field. Ariel Anderson, 60% from the field, going 6 of 10 with 19 points off the bench. Looks like the women's basketball team's on the up and up.
Yeah, they did. They won 3 in a row, all three in conference. And
it for the first time this season too.
Yeah, we've always talked about the roller coaster ride of the women's basketball, but I mean it's kind of coming to that halt finally. They're kind of finding their groove, getting in there. Ashley Eze, her fouling is slowed down. She's struggled all season, especially recently with foul trouble. Finally having a good game from start to finish without really having to worry about getting benched because of foul trouble.
Yeah, it was good, solid game for her. Ariel Anderson, 7 for 7 from the free throw line, 19 points,
Finally showing up this season.
Yeah.
Field goal percentage, Bobcats held Monroe to 40.3% from the field, and they shot 45.8%, both percentages up, but holding Monroe to 40% is really key. And key for the Bobcats, they shot 50% from the three-point line, and then they held Monroe to 25%. So that's interesting. It's good to see the Bobcats were able to kind of get that win streak going, and now they're trying to build momentum in February, like Coach Antoine alluded to, and hopefully hopefully it's here to stay, and hopefully that roller coaster isn't a roller coaster anymore. It's something that's just ascending, like maybe like the Tower of Terror. Yeah. But unfortunately, it comes back down. So probably that wasn't
not a good analogy.
Yeah. Probably wasn't the best analogy there. But hopefully, Bobcats can keep this going. They moved to 6-3 in the Sun Belt now. Moved to 9-11 for the season, and only good things can happen from here. Hopefully.
What did Coach Antoine say? February has to be our month. It looks like that's starting to happen. So, I mean, they are definitely on the right time to get on a roll. So, let's see where it takes them.
Yeah, looking to close out the season with potentially conference victory. We're talking about how they're still in play to win the conference outright. The tournament obviously still in grass, still attainable as well. But it's very good to see them find consistency. We talked about Coach Antoine trying to find an identity with this team. Looks like they finally found it. When they're shooting well, I mean, it sounds obvious, but when they're shooting well, they win games, and they haven't been shooting well at all. Like, whether it be because of Ashley Ize's foul trouble, they had to find other people. But I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb and say because of Ashley Ize's foul trouble, I think they grew together because players like Aaron Peoples or Megan Brayer stepping up when they needed to when Ashley Ize was fouling out of games, benched a lot more because of foul trouble. I think they kind of gained a trust in each other. And I think that's kind of helped them recently. So,
and what game was it when they went to double overtime?
Troy.
And it was Troy. Yeah, I mean, it seems like ever since that game, they kind of came together, like Coach Antoine said, and came together as a team and found out each other's, how they really like to play. And I think ever since then, they've been playing really well.
Hopefully that trust travels to Saturday's game, Bobcats Fight Breast Cancer game. They're going to play Louisiana here at home. Last time they played, they beat them 65-53. That matchup was on January 8th. So that means the Bobcats move. They're at 6-3. If they can beat Louisiana, they move to 7-3, and the Sun Belt's still achievable. The regular season title is still achievable for them. But a team that maybe the Sun Belt title isn't achievable for is the men's basketball program. They're going to take on Monroe and Louisiana as well. They'll take on Monroe on Thursday and Louisiana on Saturday, where Jeff Foster's number will be retired. And as much as I'd love to talk about the matchup, I think we should talk a little bit about Jeff Foster for a little bit. Talk about how cool it is that in our lifetime we get to see a Texas State athlete get their number honored the way he is on Saturday.
I mean, how many players have Texas State retired? 3? Is that what it was?
3, not including him. Yeah.
So, I mean, this could be the last one for another 10, 20 years. Who knows? I mean, that's really cool that the students and even the players get to see a guy that was a really great player at Texas State and get his number retired.
Yeah, I talked to Reed Cannon on Wednesday, and he said it's added motivation. Like they want to put on a good show for Jeff. They want to make this a ceremonious occasion, cap it off with a victory. He said it just adds a bunch of fuel, and he says he said straight up that he feels Jeff Foster's the best player to come out of Texas State.
Yeah, and it's going to be added motivation for them to win. They lost to Monroe. And they're Lafayette. Excuse me. They lost to Lafayette, and so they're playing Lafayette that game. Hopefully, it can help them out. And then they're going to play Monroe, who they beat by 30. Yeah. So it's kind of like apples and oranges a little bit. You're trying to figure it out. So hopefully they can figure it out. And with Jeff Foster's number getting retired, that should be a fun thing. Next thing we need to talk about is Texas State softball. But before we get into all that good stuff, we're going to take a quick break.
Can't drop the smoking habit or tired of inferior vaping products? At Vapor Essentials, we understand these issues. Let us show you the world of vaping at our new San Marcos location at 1515 Ocarina Springs Drive. We offer quality e-cig hardware by Halo and Totally Wicked, plus Texas Select Vapor. Our delicious top 12 flavor line will knock your socks off with nicotine ranges from 0 to 24. At Vapor Essentials, we are consumers for consumers. We are your e-cigarette store. Come by or call us today at 512-878-8869. That's 512-878-8869. 18 and older, we ID.
Need cupcakes or cookies for your sweet tooth, or maybe a custom decorated cake for your sorority or fraternity celebration? Pennington's Cakes has you covered. Since 1962, Pennington's Cakes has been providing some of the best tasting desserts in Central Texas. We bake our cakes, cupcakes, and cookies fresh to order with quality ingredients and lots of love and care. No matter the order, Pennington's Cakes will rise to the occasion. Every one of our creations is artfully decorated and memorably presented. Get 10% off your purchase when you show your Texas State ID. We also offer free wedding cake consultations. We're conveniently located at 1662 South I-35, right next to Thad Ziegler Glass. Come by or call us today and join our family of satisfied customers. Our number is 512-396-4059. 512-396-4059.
Coach, last year you struggled a little bit in the WAC, but this year you're entering the Sun Belt. Coach has picked you to finish fourth. What's your expectations this season heading into a new conference?
Well, the Sun Belt Conference is pretty tough, so I actually feel kind of honored to be picked in that top 4 spot. Those other 3 were all playing in postseason play last year, and we were not. So, but, you know, I think it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a challenging year, but the Sun Belt's a tough conference, so it's going to be fun to watch.
This year in the fall, you went 8-0 and you beat Texas. What type of momentum do you think that brings heading into the spring, especially seeing that you guys last year did pretty well in the fall as well?
Well, I think, you know, last year's we just went through a lot of adversity, and I think it made us tougher. And so this year's group was excited to get on the field this fall and kind of erase last year. But I also think that it made us a stronger group of people going through the adversity. So I think we saw that in the fall. We came out and played, I believe, 6 Division I teams and won all 6 of those. So I think hopefully things are going to roll fairly well for us as long as we stay healthy and everybody's playing in the position they should be playing in. I think it's going to be a fun season to watch.
Coach, you lost 6 seniors last year, and those seniors knew how to win. Who do you look for? Who do you look towards to kind of fill that leadership role on this year's team?
All right. Well, obviously you look at Jordan Mossick and Cora Ramirez first because they're the 2 that have been here 4 years. They've done a really good job of being leaders already this year for us. Rain House got a lot of pitching experience last year that she probably wouldn't have gotten had Anne Marie Taylor not gone down. So we look for her to do a good job on the mound for us. So I think that senior group, Tamisha North, is bringing a lot of excitement. She's comfortable finally here now in her 2nd year, and she's going to solidify the outfield, I think, for us. So, yeah, they're doing a really good job at the top of this thing, really trying to push us to a whole nother level.
This year you're opening the season at home. You know, that helps you this year or kind of works against you being too comfortable?
This group doesn't seem to matter. This fall we played well at home, we played well on the road, and so I think they're just ready to play. I don't know if it matters. It's always nice to play at home, but definitely I'm not sure it's going to matter to this group. They like playing ball.
And we're back. Heard Coach Woodard there for a little bit. One thing that stuck out to me was actually that last answer she had is this group is willing to have fun. And I think that's what Coach is trying to look back towards, because last year, I don't mean to chuckle, but it was a rough season. 18-38. I was on that beat last year, and it was rough to watch. They were 6-19 at home. It was the worst record they've had in Coach Woodard's 14 years here by far. 6-19 at home. They usually play fairly well at home. Went 8-8 actually on the road. 10-11 in the WAC. They finished 4th for the first time, I believe, in Coach Woodard's career. It was the first time a Texas State softball team finished outside the top 3 in conference. So a lot of things happened, but they faced a lot of adversity last year. And I think Coach Woodard is trying to implement them going back to having that fun that she alluded to.
Yeah, last season was not fun. This season they said they have fun this season. It's a totally different season this year. So, I mean, Coach Woodard seems like she's excited for this team. Like you said, they beat Texas in the fall ball. Like that's an accomplishment right there. Anytime you beat, no matter how good or how bad they are, it's always an accomplishment to beat Texas at any time of the year.
Yeah, they went undefeated in fall ball, so like that gains some momentum right there. She was kind of humble about the 4th place projection in the Sun Belt, which I mean, if you go undefeated in fall ball, you kind of. I don't know. She was a little too humble for me, I think. Yeah. You should be a little more prideful, saying, she was like, it's kind of lucky to be in fourth. No, you should feel it's okay, Coach.
Well, after what happened last year.
I know that's what I was saying. That last year probably humbled her a little. Last year humbled her a lot, but it's okay to feel a little confident, saying, I think we could finish, and I think we're all kind of expecting them to bounce back and have a big year.
Definitely.
So I think that 4th place finish reasonable based off what happened last year, but based off what we saw in the fall as well, I think we can expect a better finish, I'd say.
Yeah, and the three teams that were ahead, Lafayette, South Alabama, and the other team escapes me. They made it to the NCAA regional.
Yeah.
So she alluded to it that it is humbling to be picked fourth after coming off the season they did last year from a new conference and being able to kind of have that bravado of them coming in. There's 4 key games that I kind of want to talk about. They're going to play Texas. Play Baylor, they'll play Lafayette, they'll play South Alabama. They've never played South Alabama before, but they've played Texas, Baylor, and Lafayette. And in Texas last year, it was not fun for the Bobcats. They were swept in both games. They were outscored by 14 runs. It was tough. Baylor, another team, I believe in one game they ruled them last year. In another game, I believe they played Baylor twice last year. It was tough again playing Baylor. And then Lafayette, of course, they played them in the Lafayette Classic, Louisiana Classic, excuse me, and they lost all those games. They lost twice last year. So hopefully the Bobcats can pull this out and do some work this year with Coralie Ramirez and Rain House and some of the players she has coming back.
Yeah, you mentioned the Lafayette game. I believe that's March 29th in Lafayette.
Yeah, well, actually it's a 3-game series.
3-game series,
yeah.
There you go. The first game being March 29th. That's going to be a statement game because, they have a lot of games before that, but as far as conference goes, that's going to be a statement game to say, I mean, you saw what the women did, and they're the preseason favorite in basketball. This kind of to upset the favorite in softball as well. To upset the favorite kind of makes that stamp like, this is our first year, and we're not kidding around. Last year was an anomaly, and that's what they're going to prove this year, that last year does not happen often.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It doesn't happen often. So, I mean, I think it was humbling for Coach Woodard. That was something that she, like you said, Otis, like they've never been predicted to finish under third place. So, I don't know. I mean, that season I think would help them going into this season for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a humbling experience. Kelly Baker picked to finish second on the second team, all-conference team. So it should be interesting for Coach Woodard. Hopefully, she has a successful year and they're able to make the run that they want to make. Another team that's looking to make a run, they did that today. They splashed, had the signing day today. And before we kind of get into the recruiting of what happened on Wednesday, on signing day, we're going to take one quick break, our final break, and then we'll break down the football recruiting process.
Can't drop the smoking habit or tired of inferior vaping products? At Vapor Essentials, we understand these issues. Let us show you the world of vaping at our new San Marcos location at 1515 Ocarina Springs Drive. We offer quality e-cig hardware by Halo and Totally Wicked, plus Texas Select Vapor. Our delicious top 12 flavor line will knock your socks off with nicotine ranges from 0 to 24. At Vapor Essentials, we are consumers for consumers. We are your e-cigarette store. Come by or call us today at 512-878-8869. That's 512-878-8869. 18 and older, we ID.
Need cupcakes or cookies for your sweet tooth, or maybe a custom decorated cake for your sorority or fraternity celebration? Pennington's Cakes has you covered. Since 1962, Pennington's Cakes has been providing some of the best tasting desserts in Central Texas. We bake our cakes, cupcakes, and cookies fresh to order with quality ingredients and lots of love and care. No matter the order, Pennington's Cakes will rise to the occasion. Every one of our creations is artfully decorated and memorably presented. Get 10% off your purchase when you show your Texas State ID. We also offer free wedding cake consultations. We're conveniently located at 1662 South I-35, right next to Thad Ziegler Glass. Come by or call us today and join our family of satisfied customers. Our number is 512-396-4059. 512-396-4059.
And we're back. Kirk Jones, Ishmael Johnson. I'm Odus Evbagharu. And we're here to break down signing day. Texas State, they were able to get 27 commits. According to Rivals, Texas State had the 95th best nationally ranked recruiting class, third best in the Sun Belt Conference behind Western Kentucky and Arkansas State. Of course, Western Kentucky leaving for Conference USA in July. So I guess technically you could say Texas State was able to get the second best recruiting class in the Sun Belt. But it's really cool. They got some quarterbacks, but really Coach Franchione said that the highlight of the recruiting class was a defensive lineman and the safeties. They're going to lose Aaron Matthews. They're going to lose Justin Awuji. They're going to lose some guys in that secondary. So if we're able to kind of reload a defensive lineman, you lose Blake McCulloch, I believe Clavelhead, you lose DJ Yendry, big parts. So you're able to reload again, and hopefully it works out really well for the Bobcats.
Yeah, you mentioned the secondary. That was the biggest hole to fill, in my opinion, was because you're losing starters. You're not just losing depth. You're losing the top guys that were making plays. Awuji made some huge that pick six, I believe, in the Georgia State game. Just some playmakers on defense. So reloading on the secondary was huge. Giving Coach Nyvar that defensive line depth, because he loves to mess around with those schemes, those blitz schemes. This year he was having a lot of fun with the guys that could get to the quarterback. So giving him some depth on the defensive line was huge as well.
Yeah, the offensive line seemed to be something that he really addressed too. I think they had 4 3-star offensive linemen out of the 7. So I mean, offensive line wise, they definitely reloaded and seemed like they've got that to me. They're probably their best position upgrade for the recruiting class.
Yeah, and I talked to Coach Fran on Wednesday, and we kind of talked about the relationship he has with the Texas State high school coaches. And so I kind of want to get to that interview right now. You guys take a listen. Coach, you said you had guys get 3.0, 10 of them. 2 of them had 4.0. How are you looking for that to translate on the field as high IQ guys that can play right away?
Well, you'd like to believe that the ability to post good GPAs is going to enhance the opportunity to learn a little more complex game at this level. And the quicker their players are comfortable mentally, the better they can play physically. And so it always helps with those guys that come in and can learn the concepts and things that you try to teach on the football field as quickly as possible.
I know you highlighted the relationship with the high school coaches here in the state of Texas. How vital and important is that to Texas State and the community that's around here in San Marcos?
Well, it's pivotal in this state. The Texas high school coaches do such a great job of coaching and developing players and helping their players find schools to go to. And the continuity of our coaching staff, being able to go back into schools again and again and again, and not just look at seniors, but also knowing about freshmen, sophomores, and juniors that are coming up through the system, and to be able to be starting the recruiting process with them is pivotal. And the nucleus of our recruiting class will always come from the state of Texas.
And I know how important it is that you get continuity and you get consistency. And I know coaches like to theme their recruiting class a little bit as well. What's the biggest thing that you take away from this recruiting class this year?
Well, I think this is a great defensive line and safety recruiting class, which were 2 pivotal areas for us. That would be the biggest take. It's a large class. Good, we didn't have to sacrifice a freshman class to recruit a few JCs. Which was good because we had 27 available. But the 2 positions that stick out are defensive line and safety for me.
Yeah, so you hear from Coach Fran, kind of talked about how 10 guys, 3.0 GPA coming out of high school, 2 of them with a 4.0. Hopefully it'll translate not just from the classroom but on the field, making smart decisions. Then there's no place like home, especially in the state of Texas. You have to recruit very well here in the state of Texas, and it's big. It's pivotal. He's talking about the continuity of the staffs and how high school coaches do a great job. And then the third thing that, I kind of took away from it, too, is that the defensive line and the safeties. And that was really the theme of signing day, I thought, was really the smart guys he got, the amount of guys he got from Texas. I believe 17 of them were from the state of Texas, and just being able to reload on the defensive line and the secondary help.
Yeah, when you think of recruiting, you think of pretty much 2 states, Texas and Florida. Sometimes California for occasional, but depth-wise, Texas and Florida. And when you're building a program, there's really no reason to go outside the boundaries, go outside your comfort zone. There's a lot of good gems hidden in Texas. I mean, obviously, we got lucky with Tyler Jones starting right now. Johnny Manziel, obviously, the national spotlight on him. Both guys who really weren't heavily recruited. Yeah. So Texas is kind of a gold mine for football players, and it's just up to Coach Fran and the recruiters to go out there and find where they are.
Yeah, and develop them. I think developing those guys into the players that you expect them to be or better is a lot rides on the coaching staff. You got to get these guys their peak game, and Texas, they do play a lot of football, so they're going to they're used to those workloads and already come out of high school, so it's going to be good to see all these Texas guys come and play for Texas State.
Yeah, with such a deep recruiting class, I'm pretty sure there's going to be much expected from them. But with such a deep recruiting class, I'm glad that Coach Fran is starting to add depth a little bit to his roster, getting bulkier, getting bigger. You notice the size. DBs some of them are 6 foot tall. The 6'8" tackle, 6'2" receiver. So he's getting bigger. Defensive line, there's some loads on the defensive line. 6'4", 6'5" guys. Some of them pushing 250, 300, especially plugging up the middle. Because when you see games like Lafayette, and you saw how much bigger those guys were up on the line, I think Coach Fran said, it's time to go recruit some men. It's time to go recruit some guys that that can make some noise on the trenches. And I'm a firm believer in football. It starts with the offense and defensive line. You've got to recruit those two because that's the only way you win the battles, especially when you're playing tough, rugged football like the Sun Belt is. I feel like there's not a lot of spread. It's more, hey, everyone's trying to run and everyone's trying to play good D. So it's good to see that Coach Fran was able to get this kind of recruiting class. Now the thing with Coach Fran is not so much the recruiting. It's how you develop these players, and hopefully they get in the weight room and they get bigger.
Yeah, and I think, I see some of these get some of these guys like the running back. What's his name? Stedman
Bailey.
Yeah,
not Stedman Bailey.
No, Stedman. What's his name?
Stedman Mayberry.
Yeah,
Stedman Bailey. Oh yeah, the receiver from West Virginia.
5'10", 185. 185. That seems kind of small for. I feel like if you're a running back, you got to be at least 200.
They're comparing him to Rob Lowe though.
Really?
I think he has a Rob Lowe agility. Yeah. P.J. Anderson's a 6'2" receiver from Taft. They're saying he could get some early playing time. Look out for him. Lucas Askew, who actually signed last year but redshirted this year, so he was able to be part of this recruiting class. They're saying he's more of an H-back type. You take that role of Brad Miller. So, there's some talent here. You get an older quarterback in Randy Price. Experience. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what Fran can do with some of this talent.
Yeah, Roosevelt Pearson's the guy that stood out to me. 6'5", 255, defensive end. I believe Rivals had him at an unofficial 4.5 40.
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous. A ridiculous athlete. Someone who I think can make an impact right away, right when he hits the field. We'll see how Navar uses him, but there was a term that I used during the season, especially during the Lafayette game, was man ball.
Yeah.
It's line them up and go for it. Like, the Sun Belt had some man ball teams, like they had Arkansas State, Lafayette, teams that just line up. And there's no scheme there. They just run over.
They're just running.
Western Kentucky was one of them.
Western
Kentucky. Those guys were big, and that running back was big, and he just ran over people.
Yeah, so Texas State, they're going up against some man ball teams, and so they're going to need those players to, like you said, it's all about development now.
No. Yeah, so we'll see what the expectations are. Expectations for next year to me is compete in the Sun Belt. I think now they're over that hump. I don't think they're going to have their final 3 games against Arkansas State, Western Kentucky, and Troy, and then have those 3 teams have open weeks when they before they play us. I believe Lafayette was like that too. So everyone just prepared for Texas State, and they were still able to get bowl eligible. So I think next year they should be fine. They have a solid recruiting base to build off of, and I'm pleased with this recruiting class. 27 guys to sign. You had a lot of 3 stars according to ESPN, 2 stars from Rivals. So at least they have some notoriety. But before we go, I got to get you guys' final thoughts of what's going on this weekend or from signing day.
Good signing day. Texas is all about, National Signing Day is huge now. I mean, it's not like it used to be when you get a fax from somebody saying, and sign it and send it back. It's huge. I mean, I love it. I like signing day, and good to see a good recruiting class that Coach Fran and the coaches got together, and really excited about next fall.
It should be a national holiday. So
yeah, right.
It's become like a second Christmas. Once Super Bowl's over, it's like, wait a minute, signing day's coming up. Yeah. But I agree. Signing day is like a second Christmas to football fans. Spring football is going to be coming up, but we're still in the thick of basketball season, so I'm looking forward to the games this weekend, and softball obviously too.
Yeah, softball definitely. I kind of want to hit on that a little bit. They're going to play this weekend, open up in San Marcos. They'll play Texas A&M Corpus Christi twice, Southern Illinois, Stephen F. Austin. I think the toughest competition they're going to play, though, is Ball State. They got some, I believe they have an All-American on the team, and they are some stiff competition. Great pitching there. Signing day was a big deal for the football team. That's really good for them. They get Will Copa, 6'8", big tackle.
Yeah.
Look out for him in the
Yeah,
future.
6'8".
And then basketball, seeing how they respond after losing to Western Kentucky, the men, and the women getting the big win on Wednesday. Hopefully they can respond and keep it trucking along and keep the momentum. But for Ish Johnson, for Kirk Jones, I am Odus Evbagharu, and like I always say, we'll see you next time.